Wellness Rhythm Show. Find your rhythm. Live your wellness.
Y'all, let me tell you something. A few months ago, I was exhausted all the time. My jeans stopped fitting even though nothing had changed in my diet, and I was crying at a paper towel commercial. A paper towel commercial.
I'll reserve judgment on the commercial. But what you're describing, Emma, those symptoms are genuinely common. And there's a real biological story behind them that most people have never heard.
Right? And when I started digging into it, I kept hitting this phrase, estrogen dominance, and then a word that I could barely pronounce, xenoestrogens. And I thought, okay, this sounds like science fiction, but it is not.
It is absolutely not. Today, we're talking about how everyday chemicals in your environment can literally mimic or amplify estrogen in your body, and what the research says about what that does to your hormonal health and how you age.
This one is for everyone. Whether you're a woman navigating perimenopause, a man who's noticed your energy tanking, or honestly anyone between 25 and 65 who is surrounded by plastic. And that is all of us.
Right, let's get into it.
So let's start with the basics. Estrogen dominance, what does that actually mean? Because I threw that term at my doctor and got a very polite blank stare.
Right, here's what I've learned. Estrogen dominance doesn't necessarily mean you have too much estrogen. It means your estrogen is high relative to your progesterone. That ratio is what matters.
So it's not just about the number, it's about the balance.
Exactly. Dr. John Lee, who was a pioneer in this field in the 90s, wrote extensively about this. He argued that the ratio between estrogen and progesterone is one of the most underappreciated factors in hormonal health.
And the symptoms can be wild. Weight gain around the hips and belly, mood swings, brain fog, painful periods, low libido. I was ticking boxes like it was a wellness bingo card.
And here's where it gets interesting, because the conversation has expanded significantly since Dr. Lee's work. Now researchers are looking at how outside chemicals tip that balance without your body making any extra estrogen at all.
Enter the xenoestrogens.
Precisely. Xeno is Greek for foreign. Xenoestrogens are synthetic or natural compounds found in the environment that can bind to estrogen receptors in the body and mimic, block, or amplify estrogenic activity.
And they are everywhere. Like embarrassingly everywhere.
The list is honestly sobering. BPA in plastics and receipt paper. Phthalates in synthetic fragrances and personal care products. Parabens in cosmetics. Pesticide residues on produce. Certain industrial chemicals called PCBs and dioxins. The Environmental Working Group has catalogued hundreds of these compounds.
I remember reading an EWG report that said the average American woman applies over 160 chemicals to her body every single morning before leaving the house.
That figure gets cited frequently, and the methodology has been debated, but the broader point holds. The cumulative load of low-level chemical exposure is real and it is measurable.
So let's dig into the actual science here, because I know some listeners are going to say, okay, but are tiny amounts really doing anything?
Brilliant point, Emma. And this is where the research gets genuinely fascinating. The traditional toxicology model says the dose makes the poison. More exposure, more harm. But endocrine disruptors don't always follow that rule.
Wait, really?
There's a concept called non-monotonic dose response. Studies from researchers like doctors. Frederick von Saal at the University of Missouri have shown that very low doses of certain hormone-disrupting chemicals can actually produce stronger effects than higher doses, in some cases.
That is counterintuitive and honestly a little alarming.
It is, and the European Environment Agency has called endocrine-disrupting chemicals one of the most pressing emerging risks to public health. The body's hormonal system is exquisitely sensitive. It operates on concentrations measured in parts per trillion.
So we're not talking about dramatic one-time exposure. We're talking about chronic, low-level accumulation over years.
Correct. And here is where it connects to aging. Research published in journals like Environmental Health Perspectives has linked long-term xenoestrogen exposure to accelerated cellular aging, disrupted cortisol rhythms, thyroid interference, and increased inflammatory load.
Which, for our listeners who are in the sandwich generation or approaching perimenopause, this is not abstract. This is Tuesday.
Quite. And for men, this is equally relevant. Research from Shanna Swan, a reproductive epidemiologist at Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, documented declining testosterone and sperm counts in men over recent decades, and she links part of that trend to phthalate and pesticide exposure.
Her book Countdown is genuinely one of the most eye-opening things I have read. Like, I had to put it down twice just to take a breath.
I had the same reaction, which is rare for me.
Okay, so here is where I want to push back a little, because I worry we're heading toward the territory where everything is toxic, and the only solution is to live in a bubble and buy very expensive things.
That's a fair and important challenge. And honestly, no, that's not what the evidence supports as a practical response.
Right, because the wellness industry will absolutely sell you a $100 detox kit and tell you it will fix all of this.
And it won't. The liver, kidneys, and gut are your actual detoxification system. What the research supports is reducing your overall chemical load through practical, affordable swaps, not achieving zero exposure, because zero is impossible.
Okay, so let's make this actually useful. What are the highest impact changes?
Start with what you put on your skin, because skin absorption bypasses the digestive system entirely. Swapping to fragrance-free or naturally scented personal care products makes a measurable difference. The campaign for Safe Cosmetics has good guidance there.
I made that swap about a year ago. I thought I would miss my fancy scented lotion. I did not.
Food storage is significant too. The Endocrine Society has specifically flagged BPA and BPS, the replacement for BPA, which has similar issues, in plastic containers. Switching to glass or stainless steel for food and water storage is practical, and it is relatively cheap.
And eating lower on the pesticide chain. The EWG's Dirty Dozen list is free, it's on their website, and it tells you which fruits and vegetables carry the heaviest pesticide residues.
Strawberries have been at the top of that list for years. Buying those organics specifically is a reasonable targeted investment, even if you can't buy everything organic.
Here's a practical one I love. Stop touching thermal receipt paper. It is saturated with BPA. Just say no receipt or go digital.
Right, this is a good moment to say, if this episode is useful to you, please do hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps us reach people who need exactly this kind of grounded, practical information.
We really appreciate you being here with us. Okay, David, let's address the skepticism angle head on, because some people will hear all of this and think, look, humans have been living with environmental chemicals since industrialization, and most of us are fine.
And that's a legitimate observation. The full causal picture between xenoestrogens and specific health outcomes in humans is genuinely complex to establish. Randomized controlled trials are ethically impossible here. Most of the human data is observational.
So we can't say definitively this chemical gave me this condition.
Not in most individual cases, no, but the epidemiological patterns are consistent and they're concerning. The International Federation of Gynecology and Obstetrics has formally recommended that clinicians counsel patients on reducing chemical exposures during reproductive years and beyond.
That's not a fringe position.
Not at all, and the precautionary principle applies. When the plausible harm is significant and the cost of reducing exposure is low, it makes sense to act without waiting for perfect proof.
Here's the thing, though. What I find most empowering about all of this is that it puts some control back in your hands. Not all of it, but some.
And that framing matters. This isn't about fear, it's about informed, proportionate action. The goal is reducing unnecessary burden on a hormonal system that is already navigating aging, stress, and 1,000 other demands.
Beautifully put, and I say that without irony.
Noted.
Okay, if you're walking away with one thing today, let it be this. You cannot eliminate xenoestrogen exposure, and you don't need to, but you can meaningfully reduce your load by making a few targeted swaps, fragrance-free products, glass over plastic, and being strategic with the EWG Dirty Dozen list.
And if you want to go deeper, Shanna Swan's Countdown, the environmental working group at ewg.org, and the Endocrine Society's patient resources are all credible, accessible starting points. The science here is real, it is evolving, and it is worth paying attention to.
Y'all, thank you so much for spending this time with us. Your hormonal health is not a mystery or a moral failing. It is a system responding to its environment, and you have more influence over that environment than you might think.
Right. Small changes consistently applied in a world that makes it genuinely difficult. That, I think, is the practical definition of wellness.
This show is part of the VoxCrea.ai system. If you want a show like this for your organization without building it yourself,
go to voxcreel.ai and request a sample episode.